to a new edition of BuccsReport. My name is Elizabeth Coblentz. I'm replacing Ben Robinson because he's a hack and he messes everything up. I'm here with Coach Morgan. Coach Morgan, coming off our first game of the year, we did lose 27-6 to Arcanum. How do you feel about just the overall effort of the team throughout the whole game?
Yeah, I mean, effort was awesome. These boys, they always fight. That's kind of what they've always done all year long, all practice, summer-wise, scrimmage-wise. It's been awesome. The mistakes that were made through the game was never an effort mistake. It was never a lack of want to. It was always a mistake of execution or experience mistake. So, and that stuff is easy to fix, and that comes pretty good. So, effort-wise, our boys always fight. I mean, that's one of our core values, being tough and working, and we always show those two things.
Yeah, for sure. So we came off really strong. You know, our first possession, we should have scored. We had a dropped pass in the end zone. Second possession, we did score a touchdown, and then our third possession, we also scored, but it did get called back. So would you elaborate on that? Yeah,
I mean, I thought the first half of the game, we kind of dominated the game. Our low line was kind of the leader of that. We moved the ball down the field pretty well. The mistakes, like I said earlier, were kind of mistakes of a lack of either experience or lack of just kind of being in that moment. But like, so I was a huge shout to the line of how we could easily just drive the field, and we did it the entire half. Every drive was marching down the field, and then some mistakes here and there, and then do it again, and do it again. So it was cool to watch the level of toughness that the other line showed this week.
Yeah, for sure. So we come out second quarter. They scored 74-yard touchdown run. They recovered their own squid kick, and then they scored again, and now they're ahead 13-6. So how do you feel of that momentum swing for the game?
Like, football in general is a game of momentum. There's going to be shifts in here and there. The big play, the touchdown play, it was a misalignment. It was one small mistake led to a big play, and we just got to get better at when those plays happen, because they're always going to happen. What's the next play, what's the next response. So the big play happened, and then it took us a little bit of time to recover from that, and led to the squib kick that we fumbled. It's just one of those things in sports, and really all sports. Momentum in sports is huge, and when you get a play hit in the face every now and again, you got to respond. And next play mentality. That was kind of all of the negative things that happened in that game. All happened in one little chunk. So fixing the momentum issue would have been a big help there.
Right. So how have we rebounded throughout practice this week?
It's been awesome. I know you've been out there, and you can watch, especially today, being a hot day out there. Man, our boys are. I love their level of response. Like, we had a kind of a rough part of practice the other day, and now we came back today and said, what's next in the fix, and we fix it. That's just what they've done. And really, you need reps at this kind of things. Like, you need to have the adversity situations in order to learn how to get through them. You can't talk about it. You can't. Whatever. You need to be about it. Like, to be in the situations of hard things, figure it out, make some mistakes, and then grow. And we've done a great job of doing that this week.
Yeah, for sure. So what's your expectation for the boys going into this next week against Ansonia?
I mean, just focus on us. I mean, we try. I mean, we'll prep for Ansonia and stuff. Our message is Covington versus Covington. And that's really what beat us last week, was us beating ourselves. Not that I'm taking away from Arcanum, but it wasn't Arcanum. It was penalties, misalignments, things like that, were things that we could have handled and changed. So really just focusing on what we do, and focusing on Covington and how we respond to things, how we prepare for things, how we show effort, how we show execution. It's not really about Ansonia. It's about our boys and how they're prepared and respond to things.
Yeah, for sure. So you've been here for 3 years now. How do you feel that this team is differing at the Covington tradition, the Covington way, from the past couple years you've been here?
I mean, there's always room to grow all the time. But this group of guys, our core values are work tough, unselfish, humble, and loyal. And we preach them every day. They're on the screen in our PowerPoint every day. It's part of our practice plan every day. That's like what we strive to be, and the mission is to maximize those things. And I think that we've still have a long way to go, but we've come the closest so far this year to really achieving some of those things. And we still have a long season ahead of us. But those 5 core values, the work tough, unselfish, humble, and loyal, those are things that we really preach. And I think our boys have done a great job of kind of living those things.
Yeah, for sure. That's all I have. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Next, I have defensive coordinator Coach Miller coming out. Welcome back to the Bucks Report. I'm here with defensive coordinator Coach Miller. Coach Miller, how do you feel about the defense on Friday night's game?
Awesome. I mean, I think back to the effort that we gave all game. A lot of our kids played both ways and just continuous strain. It was awesome to see. Thinking back to that first couple drives, I think they had one first down that was really just a bad call on my part out of the first 4 drives, and still it goes to the effort. It goes to the effort of the kids.
Yeah, not to mention, correct me if I'm wrong, but our whole defensive line is freshmen, and you could barely tell. So
yeah, I think these freshmen have been awesome on the defensive line, and the other freshmen as well. But they just max effort all the time, and I think we had 7 fumbles, 7 missed-snap fumbles, and that's a credit to the D-line, just really trending, getting a knockback on that center every play, and eventually it wears on them.
yeah, for sure. We also wanted to point out we had 1 interception, and we did have 1 fumble that was recovered. So
yeah, I think a lot of opportunities there, and the final score of the game would have been a lot different if we recover all 7 fumbles and all that, but just those are right place and the right time type things that we weren't there.
yeah, for sure. We talked about how our defense came out really strong in the first part of the game. Obviously, the second quarter didn't go our way, but how do you feel about the whole second half was pretty even?
Yeah. So first couple drives into the second half, the defense put lights out, and then a couple calls on my part, a couple miscues by our linebackers, and they're off to the races a couple times. And it's a totally different ball game if we could correct some of the miscues and also have momentum throughout that entire first half versus
for sure. You used to be an athlete here, so how do you feel about this team, holding up the traditions and the Covington culture, really?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I think, my view on Covington is amazing. I moved from Greenville, and I fell in love, and that's the biggest reason why I came back and coached. Is I want to make sure that stays alive. And I think back to, the years of watching the high school AJ Ouellette, people like that, and those defenses, and I just want to keep that alive. Hopefully our kids are doing that, and so far they are.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks, Coach. Next, we'll be back with our offensive linemen. Welcome back to the BuccsReport. I'm here with the 2023 offensive line. Obviously, we have a very young line this year with only 2 returning players. The rest of them are freshmen. For you two, how do you guys feel about the overall toughness of the line this year and how they're just getting better than last year?
I feel like we've gained toughness from the previous years. This year, I feel confident that we could beat many teams that we go against. I just feel like overall we've got way tougher than the past previous 2 years I've played with the O-line.
Yeah, and my freshman year and everything, it's from the liftings and everything, I feel like they've really helped. The O-line, we're more aggressive and just giving good reps on the scout D and just improving and just helping each other out has really gotten us going through our first game.
Yeah, for sure. Freshmen, how do you guys feel about starting your first varsity game? Just the overall toughness of the line, overall, how you guys have bonded with the upperclassmen and stuff like that?
This is definitely a tight group of O-linemen, I think.
I think we've stepped up a lot with the toughness going up against a lot of homegrown guys.
Our returning players, they have taught us a lot, and they help us with our questions, and they're just really good at coaching us through things.
And they're all really good coaches, and we really made a big bond together, struggling through practices, hot practices, tough ones.
Ever since before camp, they've helped us young guys with anything we needed. They made sure we knew all the plays and kept us in line.
You have anything to say about your upperclassmen, just the line in general?
I feel like they help us a lot, yeah, with everything.
How do you guys feel about our game Friday against Arcanum?
I think we really executed, and I feel like the defense that we went against was not very good, and I feel like we should have won that game, but I feel like we really executed on our drills and we were well conditioned, so we went all the way through the game without really getting tired.
Yeah, and going off what Caden said, execution is a big thing in the game of football, and I feel like that we really did pull it off during our Arcanum game. And knowing these young guys, the young linemen, not really knowing how to play like for their first like football game, I feel like they really went out there and like gave their all.
Yeah, for sure, I agree. Freshmen, how do you guys feel about how you guys played in the game? You know, your first varsity game period.
It was definitely a bunch of little mistakes that we need to fix and that we have fixed. And we're gonna come out this Friday night and crush them heads.
All right.
We went as hard as we could, like even as so young and playing against big people, and we went as hard as we could as young people.
I think we improved a lot, but we can improve a lot more going up against this game next Friday.
Arcanum, it was definitely a struggle, but I mean, we went up against guys that were 2 times bigger than us, and we fought our butts off.
Yeah, I feel like it was a big learning experience last Friday, and we have a lot of things to build on and get better.
I feel like the whole O-line was going tough throughout the whole entire game.
Okay, so you mentioned the little mistakes that you guys are making this week in practice. How do you fix those? How are you not going to make those same mistakes in the next game against Ansonia on Friday?
A lot of our mistakes were just like holding calls, a lot of the flags. We've been in the red zone a lot of times, and we just need to stop having the flags so we can score.
Yeah, and like I feel like our mistakes are like mainly from like younger linemen because they're not really understanding and everything. And I mean, as he said, like we were in the end zone like plenty of times, and I feel like the mistakes are what like held us back that game. So.
Freshmen, you guys are the ones that mentioned the mistakes. How have you guys gone about fixing those this week? Because we're on day 3 of practice. We have 1 more practice until our next game. So how did you guys fix those so that doesn't happen again?
Definitely focusing on the more minute details as we go through practice and what you're doing and what we're doing.
Taking reps at those situations and making sure we take the right steps and get our hands inside.
Everyone's been more focused on those little things instead of the huge things. So if something happens like that, we get it called out, we fix it.
Asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Anything that we get wrong, we always ask a question, try and fix it.
I feel like everyone has been focusing on those little things.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Elizabeth Coblentz for the Covington Buccaneers. Good night and
Go!